Joining us is visiting fellow at the US Studies Centre and Sky News contributor Bruce Wolpe. Bruce, it's day three and D-Day in a lot of ways.
It is D-Day, and this is the last day for the Democrats to present their case. What will happen over the next several days is this. The president's defense will begin tomorrow, Saturday in Washington, but it will be a shortened session because the president doesn't think many people will be watching television on Saturday. They'll be doing other things. He calls it Death Valley TV. So the opening of the president's defense will take just a couple of hours on Saturday instead of the normal 6 to 8 hours. They will then come back Monday, and that'll be a major day for the president's defense. When that concludes, Monday or Tuesday in Washington, the Senate then moves to questions from the 100 senators to both sides. These are questions that senators write out. It's something senators may have forgotten to do in their old age. They write out, they send them to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice organizes the questions and asks both sides what the senators want to say. That goes on for 16 hours, so probably a couple days. So by Thursday next week, the Senate will then be in a position to figure out, do they want to hear witnesses or do they want to move to a vote on the articles of impeachment, whether to convict or acquit the president. There will be one major vote for everyone to watch. The Democrats want John Bolton, the former National Security Advisor, to testify. That will be the biggest vote as to whether this trial opens up and goes for a much longer period of time. Otherwise, Tim, by this time next week, the trial will likely be over.
And that's exactly what President Trump wants. You call it split-screen presidency. And the Super Bowl plays a part in here.
It does.
Tell me your thoughts here.
The Super Bowl is Sunday, February 2nd. The president is going to be interviewed by the television networks carrying the Super Bowl.
As they always do, yeah.
They always do. It's a really big deal. It's the biggest TV audience of the year. The president does not want impeachment hanging over him while he's being interviewed. Well, how do you feel about the impeachment trial, Mr. President? And on Tuesday, February 4th, is the State of the Union. Well, he doesn't want to face the Congress with impeachment hanging over him. So the president wants this thing drawn to a conclusion. Senator McConnell, the Republican Party, the Republican senators want it drawn to a conclusion. So I think you will see a really full court press, as they say in basketball, to end this thing in about a week.
Using another sporting line.
This is hardball.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Will we see another curveball? Or do you think logic will follow, like the logic that we've been discussing, that it will finish next week?
The Democrats have tried to put the Republicans under immense pressure. They presented a case. They think it's a very strong case. Adam Schiff got a lot of high marks for his closing yesterday about, he says, right matters. It's your duty as senators to reach the proper judgment here. So he's getting a lot of attention, but there's no one who feels that Republican senators have changed their opinion based on everything that they've heard. They're looking at 4 or 5 moderate Republicans to see whether they would vote for witnesses. They're not counting on those votes yet. So these next few days are kind of crucial, but as things stand right now, McConnell has the votes, the president has the votes, they'll vote to acquit, they'll end it next week.
He's just marched along at pace, as always, and Donald Trump has addressed the annual Right to Life anti-abortion march in the streets of Washington.
Yes, and part of the split-screen presidency is the president doing his job, reaching his base, making his arguments, being as presidential as he wants to be. And the Right to Life anti-abortion movement is a key to him. It is a huge part of the base. It is the most important thing as far as his support from evangelical Christians. That stayed intact, notwithstanding the president has issues in his personal life. They overlook that. They say, you've been great on us on Right to Life. You've been great on appointing conservative judges. You support us. You support churches. And so we're with you. So for the first time in the history of these marches, which goes back a few decades, the president has addressed the Right to Life rally in Washington. And that's a big deal for them. But he did it in part because, well, again, impeachment's going on, but I have something bigger I want to say.
And internationally, we've got China, we've got Mexico, the Middle East.
And he was in Davos this week, and he made very strong arguments to the leaders of the world. Look at the American economy. We're number one. We're the strongest. We're the most powerful. You should follow what we're doing. Yeah, I say America first, but actually I want to change the way the world is being led. He was generally well received in Davos. He didn't blow up things, as has happened at NATO meetings, G7 meetings. So tensions were relatively minor. And Trump believes that was a big success for him on the international stage. Then on Tuesday, as the impeachment trial is continuing, Benjamin Netanyahu and the likely leader of the opposition, they're having a third election in Israel, you know, on the future of that country. They're to come to the White House to hear the president talk about his long-awaited Mideast peace plan. And so, again, another moment of high diplomacy as the raw politics of impeachment play out on Capitol Hill.
And someone that's really annoying him at the moment is Michael Bloomberg. You won't be getting a Christmas card from Donald Trump.
Trump really hates Michael Bloomberg. And what is getting under Trump's skin, Michael Bloomberg is a very wealthy man. He's several times wealthier in his billions than Trump. And what Michael Bloomberg has done is spend over $200 million in television advertising to boost his campaign. But really, he's buying time on Fox News, which the president watches. So the president is watching Fox News and he's seeing ads for Michael Bloomberg on his favorite TV network, and it's driving him nuts. So Bloomberg bought a $10 million buy for the Super Bowl. Well, then Trump buys a $10 million buy for the Super Bowl. So Bloomberg is getting to Trump. I don't think that the answer to one New York billionaire is another New York billionaire as far as the Democratic Party is concerned, but Trump has got his eye on Michael Bloomberg.
And there are reports that, looking at the Democrats, Kamala Harris will endorse Joe Biden.
This would be a very significant boost for Biden if it happens. Kamala Harris is extremely well regarded. And you'll recall she had issues with Biden early on in the debates about race and civil rights and where Joe Biden stood. And she went toe-to-toe with him and had some pretty harsh criticisms. So for her to endorse Biden, given that history, and given that Biden, it would really strengthen him going into the major round of primaries. It's not clear whether this will occur. It could have been a testing of the waters to have word out here and see what she gets back, and she may yet shy away from it. But Biden has shown great strength in the African-American community. He's leading in South Carolina, which has a heavy African-American vote, and he wants all the support he can get going into this time.
And he's doing it all, isn't he? He's showing the strategy, running onto stage, sort of defying the whole ageist thing.
Yes. Remember Obama used to run up the...
Yes, exactly. Up and down the stairs.
That's right. And so Biden wants to show he's very vigorous. I mean, the question about Joe Biden is he Mr. Resilience? I mean, after everything, given his age, and sometimes he has these verbal gaffes, and Ukraine is hanging over there. Is he still the one who can go toe-to-toe with Trump and make a clear choice to the American people? Do you want to be governed like this for the next 4 years, or you want to, can we recreate some of what we had and go forward from there? That remains the big test. The Democrats have not yet landed on a candidate. That's why Iowa and New Hampshire coming up in the next 2 weeks is just so important, because someone's going to win those two races, and whoever wins those two races, they're going to be the favorites going in, and we'll see whether Biden is one of them.
I don't mind $1 each way on a horse from time to time, Bruce.
I heard that.
Which horse are you on? Is it going to be Joe Biden in your view?
Tim, I've thought about. I just can't figure out who is going to lead. I do know this. Again, someone's going to win Iowa. Someone's going to come in second and third. They say there are 3 tickets out of Iowa. Someone's going to win New Hampshire. So let's say that'll be a pool of 3 to 4. That the candidate will ultimately come out of that. But once someone starts winning, that will change the national polls as to who you want, because the voters generally want to go with winners, just as in horse racing, right? And so we'll know really in 2 weeks' time who the favorite truly is.
Okay, well, studying your form, I'll keep my money in my pocket. Good to see you, Bruce, as always. No, I'll keep it there. Good to see you.
Thank you, Tim.